and welcome to Light for Life 2017. This is the second year of this Diwali charity function, and this year we're raising money in support of the Starship Foundation, Totara Hospice South Auckland and the Cancer Society. It's going to be a really exciting night, so let's get started.
I would like to thank you, everyone of you and your support tonight, and we hope you enjoy the night ahead.
Patel and Pike are gold sponsors of tonight's event, pledging $10,000. Can we please welcome Mr. Kanu Patel, Managing Director of Patel Pike.
Last year we raised over 100,000, out of which we gave 70,000, 35,000 to cancer and 35,000 to Totara Hospice. So that's one of the objectives. The second objective is to recognize people that work hard to cure cancer or provide support, provide love, provide care, provide compassion.
Basically, they'd found this tumour which was the size of a grapefruit, which sounds like a ridiculous descriptive word to describe a tumour, but it was the size of a grapefruit and it was pressing on my heart, which was obviously making me, struggling with breathing, sleeping and itchy. And I remember, they were obviously waiting for my parents to come back to tell me that I had cancer. And when you hear that word and you get told it, especially when you're 18, it sort of hits you like a sledgehammer. And even talking about it now, I can just remember being in there. And I remember at the time getting told that, and I was obviously pretty gutted. And then I remember looking at Mum, and I was in a bit of a weak moment, and I said, I don't want to die. And then she said, "You're not going to die." And then just went back to reading her pamphlet, literally. And I was like, right, okay, I'm not going to die. Great, what are we going to do? And when we got into it, and basically we had, we mapped out a road. We had 6 months of chemotherapy. If I look at two things, I'd say one of them, like the Cancer Society, it's actually about the good support that's around you. I think that's really, really important. And I had great people around me. We knew what we needed to do, and we got it done. And I suppose the other thing is that, cancer made me who I am today. And Diwali's all about hope. And at that time we had hope. And if I look back on it now, it was a pretty massive moment in my life, and I certainly, I've definitely grown from it.
60 people are diagnosed with cancer. You've just heard one story. There are another 59 stories just like that created every day. Some of those stories don't have a happy ending, I'm afraid. But one thing in common, we know that those people that are diagnosed with cancer, one of the first organisations they turn to for help is the Cancer Society. Now, all of this stuff is only possible through the support of the community, and it's at events like this and with people like you that we make all these things happen. So I just want to close by thanking you all very much for coming here and making this such a wonderful, amazing, colourful evening, and to thank our wonderful sponsors, and in particular my old cycling buddy Jatine, who really I think is the key to bringing us all here tonight.
Donha Real Estate are also gold sponsors for tonight's event, pledging $10,000.
Last year, exactly this time, I had the opportunity to tour the Totara Hospice and also New Zealand Cancer office and hotel in Newmarket. I get to understand the values of what they do, and 3 weeks after I visit the two premises, one of my business partner, my best friend, has got cancer. 3 more weeks later, my wife's uncle collapsed, and he was suffering at home. and I get to watch him die. And I said, if I didn't understand about hospice, what they provide, I would be totally against it, not to go there. But I had the opportunity to tour the hospice facility, and I insist that he must go there instead of keeping him at home. And I'm glad that I did that, and I'm glad I insist to do that.
It's like catching waves from a distance, and I can't see the end of this until I see the end of me. 'Cause right now I'll be chasing dreams.
I was absolutely blown away on behalf of Totara Hospice last year, and in a way to give back to the Indian community, we've started an outreach programme in partnership with a hospice that's trying to set up in Delhi in India in order to try and give back and create a hospice movement across Delhi. And you were the inspiration for that, and thank you so much for allowing us to be able to give back in some small way.
Starship is now celebrating its 25th anniversary as a hospital and as a foundation, and we're immensely proud of the work that's been done over the first 25 years. Advances in pediatric medicine mean that procedures and operations on children are less invasive, there's less pain involved, and very importantly, more surviving and getting home much earlier than they used to. And that's only thanks to support of the community like yours that we've been able to top up the government funding, who provides a very adequate hospital. But I think you would join me in believing that for our children, we want more than adequate. So with your help, together, we can ensure that Starship is a world-class facility for all our kids.
Playing cricket in New Zealand and Australia, you cop a lot of abuse, I guess you could call it, from the crowd, because usually you don't want to field in the second innings, because by the time the Aussies and the Kiwis have a few in them, you tend to cop it. But over in India and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and Pakistan, you have grown men dancing in the stands at 9:30 in the morning without a drop of alcohol, and that aspect I just cannot quite fathom, but it just sort of illustrates the passion they have for the game of cricket.
In his last few days, my father was at hospice, and he passed at hospice. I now know my assumptions were wrong, and having faced the reality of hospice and the journey with my father, I realized how harder it would have been without them being beside us through this time. And can I thank you, our guests and hospice supporters here? Please, you must remember that this can happen to you. You never know who's going to need hospice, and chances are that someone you love will benefit. So consider tonight, when you are donating and bidding, you are not really giving to an unknown person or charity. You're giving to a place that will look after someone you love.
My specialist said to me, that I'd really dodged a bullet, that if I'd left that mole and not got it checked, another 3 to 6 months, I wouldn't be here speaking to you today. And at that time, during those 2 weeks, the Cancer Society was my lifeline. They have an 0800 cancer helpline. When you're diagnosed with cancer and you walk out of your doctor's surgery, you're in shock, and you don't always ask the questions you want to ask or you think of at the time. And it's only later, when you digest the information, that you have a lot of questions. And that 0800 cancer helpline was my lifeline.
Today, I've shared with you all the most important 6-month journey of my dad's life and how important the roles these institutions play in the lives of cancer patients. I earnestly, in all my conscience, request each and one of you here to dig your pockets for the highest bid at the auction tonight to raise money for this great cause.
And who's got $1,900? It's just that simple. Go to 1900. We can beat 1800. 2-1. 2-2 anywhere. 2-2. Down 200. Thank you. 4,000. Woohoo! 4,000. And so, thank you, sir.